Where'll you be going?
Texas?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Go on, make it happen.
And now here's Steve and Michelle.
Welcome to Mallet and Michelle, right here in soggy Dripping Springs. While I am worried about my hair in the 1 hour it took to straighten it, Steve is excited because it's good for the land. Every week we bring sass, heart, and humor, maybe actually some facts we throw in there. But Steve, welcome. And
so you're worried about your hair, but you're not worried about the tornado watch.
Have you seen my hair? This takes a long time to do this hair,
I bet
for
it does.
sure.
You need to have hair like me that's going bald in the back here.
No. I'm good. Hey, we need to thank our sponsors
yes,
also.
We do.
We have Jovi Beltero.
If you are looking to live in a 55-plus community, you need to go over there and talk to Marilyn, Audra, and Sydney. They'll give you a private tour and maybe give you something special over there.
That's right. And how about South Star Bank? Oh, I love those people.
Yeah, Kim Watson. I just saw her the other day. She's a loan rock star. I love her. If you need a loan on land or a house or construction, give her a call.
We're going to a happy hour there today, this afternoon, for sure.
Yes.
And then there's this little real estate company. I don't know if you've heard about it or not.
I have, yeah.
Mallet Integrity Team Real Estate.
You know what? I think I said a week ago or 2 weeks ago that we had 50-plus years of combined experience. And I was thinking about it this morning. It's actually 60.
Is math your strong suit?
Yes, it's my strong suit.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Just wanted to
and
know.
one other thing about that. If you're online right now, go look at 362 Wellington in Belterra.
Please.
It's a great house, and somebody needs to buy it. Dang it.
Please, somebody buy
Yes.
this property for sure. Hey, this morning, joining us for our monologue, we have two very special people, Steve and Jennifer Friedman. Welcome. They're with the Dripping Springs Art League.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. And so they're going to tell us about some upcoming events that are going on here in Dripping Springs. And Steve, take it away.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us.
Our
We're real
pleasure.
excited to be here.
Yeah.
For those that aren't aware of what Dripping Springs Art League is, we formed about a year and a half ago, and we support local artists all across the area. We have clubs for everything from glass and metal art to ceramics and acrylics and watercolor. So a great opportunity for artists to find their tribe, practice their art, get out and sell art if they'd like to do that. And we do a lot of other public art exhibits and markets throughout the year.
You guys have made such a big impact in a year and a half.
Thank you.
I mean, the stars on Mercer Street and then the gala that you did that we emceed. I mean, you're really making a big impact.
Well, we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Well, good. And so what's going on now? You got a couple of big events coming up.
Yeah, we have a few big events. May is a big month for us. Art in every corner of Dripping Springs. So the first event we have is this Saturday, May 10th. It's at the Triangle, corner of 290 and 12. And it's the mother of all art markets. So it's the day before Mother's Day, and we're doing it up big. So we have about 20 vendors coming out. We have 4 demos, metal art, fiber art, alcohol ink that Jennifer's leading up, stained glass. So really fascinating to watch what they're doing. And there's vendors out there so you can check out their local art and pick up a few pieces for your mother or mother-in-law or anybody else you'd like.
Did you know that Dripping Springs Elite, we're going to have a coloring booth out there for the
I did
kids?
know that.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I need to print those coloring pages. It reminded me.
I've been recruited to go to that, so I think you may see me out there coloring some pages myself.
There you
That's
go.
awesome. Yeah, we'll have a lot of fun for the kids. We've got music all day. So we'd love for everybody to come out this Saturday. It's from 10 to 4. Our next event is the following Thursday. So on the 15th of May, we'll be at Growlix on Mercer Street at 6 o'clock. We're doing 2 things at Growlix. First, we're celebrating the banners that are on Mercer Street. So, you know, the lamppost banners on the side of the street. So our local artists have created the banners that are up for May and June. And so we're going to celebrate that at Growlix, and then we're going to go out and walk around, and the artists are going to share a little bit of their inspiration and technique of how they created them. We're also going to do a kickoff for our tour that I'll talk about next. So we'll have a lot of samples, and you can plan your tour experience for the weekend there at Growlix on Thursday the 15th.
What happens to the banners at the end of June? Are you guys going to raffle those off or anything?
Well, the city's actually going to take them down and plan to reuse them next year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so it'll be an ongoing thing.
So
That's
an
great.
ongoing thing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So what's the third event?
So the third event is our West of Weird Art Tour. So that is May 17th and 18th, Saturday and Sunday, from 11 to 6. And we are so excited. We have 36 artists that are going to be opening up their home studios, showing where they work, how they work. They'll do some demos. We have art all across the area. We have several in every corner, from the northwest side up on West Fitzhugh to Nutty Brown and all points in between. So regardless of where you live, or if you're coming in from Austin or some other place, you can spend an hour, or you can spend 2 days checking out all the art, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a few local galleries that are also participating and doing a great job of bringing art to the public here in Dripping.
We were at the unveiling of the stars, and I said, you gave us a couple minutes to say some things, and I said, you guys are quickly changing this town into not only just the wedding capital of Texas, but it's becoming an epicenter for art. I love that. People will start coming here for a different reason now, because to see all this wonderful art.
Well, thank you, and I really think that you're right, and I think we're on to something. And it's not that we've created that; the talent has been here.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of local artists that do amazing work. And I think maybe we're just helping to bring them along and connect them with each other, which is really exciting for us and for them. And as a result, I agree. I think there's no reason Dripping Springs won't become a big art destination here in the Hill Country.
I think it will. Tell us where people can find out more.
Look us up at artindripping.com. You'll find all of our events, the ones we mentioned and many others. You can join our subscriber list, and membership is only $35 a year.
That's awesome. So thank you both for coming in. That's really cool. We hope you have a huge turnout for your events.
Well, thank you, and thanks for all your support.
Oh, of course.
Appreciate that.
Well, that was great. I love them. They're really making a big impact on Dripping Springs, aren't they?
They are. They're great people, too. I love to go to some of their stuff and just see the different types of art that are out there. I was in Chicago this past weekend, and I had an 11-week-old with me looking at Monet and Renoir and Van Gogh, and she wasn't as impressed as I was.
Not yet.
But
she
no,
will be one day.
She wasn't, but it was. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Well,
for sure.
good. Well, I wanted to talk about, there's a couple big things that happened in Texas recently. One was Governor Abbott. I think you're going to talk about something about House Bill too, but Governor Abbott just signed a law into law about school choice. Did you hear about that?
I did.
Yeah. So Senate Bill 2 established ESAs, or Education Savings Account Program, and it allows for public money to be used for parents to pay for private schools, which has been one of Governor Abbott's top priorities over the years. Governor Abbott said, "Gone are the days that families are limited to only schools assigned by the government. The day has arrived that empowers parents to choose the school that's best for their child," which I think is huge.
We have yet to see how this will impact our local public schools.
I don't think it's going to have much of an impact at all.
You don't think so?
No, because they're also looking at a bill to raise how much money is going to fund public education.
Where's all that coming from? And didn't our
It comes from us, Michelle.
Yeah, the Dripping Springs bill passed. Also, the bond passed.
Yeah. I've seen like so many different numbers, but I think it's total of $770 million.
$10 trillion.
Yeah, it's like enough to buy a spaceship to the moon. So this bill that was signed, each child accepted in the program will receive 85% of the statewide average of local and state dollars that each student receives in public schools. So I'm sorry, I'm reading that, but right now it's a little over $10,000 a year. So if you have your kid in a private school, you can get $10,000 a year to use towards paying for that private school. Now, what a lot of the opponents have said is, well, that's just a bill now for rich people. But what I think might happen is that there may be some, we had the school here. What was the name of the school we had her on from? Apogee?
Apogee.
Apogee. I think there will be some private schools popping up that are not like, these St. Andrews or whatever they are, those big, fancy, rich private schools. There'll be more grassroots type schools where the child can get a good education, for $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 a year. And this will make a big difference on that.
I did actually hear, I think it was last week, there was a Catholic school up in the Northeast, I believe, that was they had a case in the Supreme Court, and they feel like they should be able to get state funds for their private school. And if that passes, they were talking it in relation. I was actually listening to the Chicago News.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they were talking about the school choice that was happening here in Texas at the same time, and how that could impact too. So private schools could also be getting state fund money.
Yeah. Well, this is sort of a bellwether thing for the entire country. A lot of the rest of the country, the other states, are looking at how this bill passed and how it was structured, and maybe considering something like this for their state.
Well, I think parents, these last 5 years, if it's taught us anything, we want more choice for our children, and we don't want our children to be indoctrinated with whatever.
And when your school starts doing things that you don't want to your children, that you don't want them to do, or influencing them,
you have a choice.
You have a choice now, and I think that maybe holds public schools a little more accountable when they come up with some crazy idea. They go, wait a minute, we might lose a lot of students if we do that, because their parents will pull them out and put them in Apogee or Catholic school or some other private school. The law that was signed into law also says that homeschool students are eligible to receive up to $2,000 a year. So there are some income limits, and you have to. These programs just aren't going to automatically apply. You have to be approved. You have to apply for them to be eligible for the funds. But if somebody's thinking about pulling their kids out, I urge you to look at this, read up on it some. I think this could change education in Texas significantly in the future. Significantly. And there'll be some things that come out of it that are maybe not expected that could be really good for education.
I happen to agree. I think if the COVID times taught us anything, is that we realized we didn't have a lot of say in our child's education, and the parents that were speaking out at school boards and so on, they were being villainized. So it's true. And not in Texas, but even in some states, parents were being arrested for opposing what was happening in the school. Well, maybe it goes back to our school, our choice.
Yeah, it should, right?
Maybe.
I mean, when so-called public education was first started, it was parents had all the say in what their kids were taught. Now these teachers unions and these other groups have gotten really pretty cocky on what they think they can do with the kids. It's time maybe to correct that a little bit. Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to piggyback off of that just a little bit. And something else that's going on in Texas, if you see Michelle in handcuffs soon, you will know why. The Texas House has passed a bill to criminalize political memes.
Is that the only reason you'd be in handcuffs?
No, it's not.
I can think of a lot of other things.
No, it is not.
One is murder of your boss.
Murder. Well,
I'm pretty sure they would arrest you for that.
Is it really?
So, Michelle.
Is it? I don't know.
It's kind of a fine line there. But
House Bill 366 will lock up anyone for a year, up to a year. I'm sorry. Excuse me, unless political memes or altered media have a government disclaimer at the bottom. And some of the people that are against this say, look, it's a violation of the First Amendment. It will go to a higher court, and it will be ruled unconstitutional. The Texas Senate should and will kill it. These are what people are saying online. Somebody else says sounds like Britain. Or Canada. I don't know if you've heard what's going on with Canada.
I have.
And what happens when loony people post things about the other party, and then they all want to move to Texas again. But really what this bill says, it's Texas House Bill 366. It addresses political advertising that includes altered media, such as images or videos created using generative AI. It establishes to disclose requirements and classifies violations as a Class A misdemeanor, which can result in fines or jail time. And so when I started, the headline basically states, you post a political meme, you're going to jail. It's all censorship. That's really not what it is.
I think it's a little more nuanced than
that. It is. It's a little bit, once you get in, the devil's in the details, you get in there and you can't put an altered AI video of a political figure, Governor Abbott. Let's just use him as an example. His face is talking, his mouth is talking, but his voice.
It's crazy
but
how
it's
they
not
could
his
do
voice.
that. Do you remember the old videos of the football players and they were talking and then they would put a voiceover on them and it looked like they were actually saying it and they would be like, oh man, I got to go change my diaper now.
Yeah.
Or some weird thing. Now, man, it's like 100 times more realistic
Well,
now.
all they're saying is if they do that, there has to be a disclaimer that it was AI. I mean, we have to do it in MLS. I was looking at it in MLS. Our MLS or ABOR has introduced an AI feature that you can add descriptions to the pictures. Now, we've always kind of gone in and added these descriptions on our own, right? You know, like if I were to describe the studio, it's, you know, it's cozy and it has soundproofing and microphones and whatever. Well, what the AI does, it's like, there's an AC vent and there's baseboards and it doesn't do a really good job of it.
It almost seems stupid.
But we also there's a disclosure that you're supposed to have on MLS that shows that these are AI generated.
Yeah. You know where I'm wondering if maybe this started. I remember back when Rush Limbaugh was alive and I would hear people commentating on didn't like him, commentating on something he said on his radio show. And they would play a clip of something he said, and I would go, "Oh, damn, man! I can't believe Rush said that."
You mean taking something out of context?
Well, yes, hear me out. So then I would go back and I'd listen to the whole episode, and I'd go, "You guys clipped it out. That is nothing what he was going to say." So in this age where things can be edited way more than they could back then, not only just taking things out of context, I think was somebody well-meaning that thought we can't have people taking clips or making people look like they're saying things that are absolutely untrue. But I think they got a little carried away.
I think I happen to agree with you there. I happen to agree with you. So, buckle up. If you see me in handcuffs, it's because I shared a funny meme, and I don't
think that's what it's going to be when we see you in handcuffs, Michelle.
I share some pretty funny stuff on there.
I'm pretty sure they could have hauled you away in handcuffs on May 1st when we had our little protest in Dripping Springs. Did you read much about that online? You know, right at Ranch Road 12 and 290, there was some protests on May 1st.
Okay, the only reason why I heard about this, because I was out of town, the only reason why I heard about this was because of the fire that happened behind there. And people were saying that maybe the protesters started the fire, which is not true. It was like I don't know if it's true.
I don't know if it's true either. It's kind of, I'm just going to say, it's kind of funny. A fire starts 100 yards away from a protest in an area where there's nobody living.
True.
It's just in the woods.
True.
Why does a fire just spontaneously combust? It probably is complete coincidence, but I'm pretty sure if you'd have driven by them, you would have maybe given them some hand signals.
You would have thought maybe their tears would have put the fire out.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So there's a title right there. Well, there's a new town in Texas. Have you heard about the newest town? It's down near Brownsville. It is the town of Starbase, Texas.
Yes, it's in El Valle. I love it. It's another valley town, and I am a big supporter of whatever. I'm a huge supporter of Elon Musk and what he has done for the Rio Grande Valley. I'm a Rio Grande Valley girl, and it has changed the landscape of that very, very poor area.
That the business he has down there, SpaceX, employs 3,400 people.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And the salaries of those people is way more than they have ever made at any point in their life.
And not only that, Steve, he has invested so much money into the schools.
Millions and millions of dollars.
It is an amazing thing what he has done down there.
Yeah. So the town, they had to have a vote on it, this is a town, not a city, and a town's typically smaller than a city and has less jurisdictional control, but 97% of the people that lived in the area that would be controlled by this town voted for this. 3% of the people, which those voted against it, but have you ever heard of any vote that got 97%?
No.
Never.
And I know probably for a fact because not only did I live down in the valley, but I worked down in the valley. Yeah. It's a very corrupt area. It's very run by nefarious.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm sure. Well, I think Musk is doing away with some of that.
Yeah, and the people that were against it, I think they didn't like losing control.
Yeah. Well, part of the reason that Musk got this thing going was the people that were down there that ran the parks and the beaches and stuff. Whenever he would have a rocket launch,
They would have to
close the beaches and the highways, and they wouldn't let him do it. So now this township has control over those. They can shut them whenever they want. So
because didn't they say they wanted to do like 25 launches a year or something like that?
And his goal with this is to send a rocket to Mars.
From Texas.
From Texas.
From the Valley.
From the Valley.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you be opposed to that?
From people that are born and raised
Yes.
Texan, Mexican Americans,
Yep.
hardworking people.
Yep.
And I mean, if you're against it, boo on you.
Yeah, so it's cool. Starbase, Texas. I actually think they'll probably get a lot more tourists down there, which will also make the economy boom. It's going to be a good thing.
Brownsville is a cool little town. They have an amazing zoo, and it's kind of the way you go when you go to Port Isabel when you want to go to the beach.
Yeah,
So I spent many a time down there.
It's pretty interesting. Whether you like Elon Musk or not, he's a brilliant guy, and he has incredible. He can see into the future
his
as
vision.
far as vision for what could come he doesn't think small. There's no small thinking in that guy. If you say, hey, let's start this business, he thinks of, okay, how can we dominate the world with that business? How can we sell in every corner of the planet with
He's
that
changed the trajectory of down there in the valley, and I think it's just amazing. It's the majority of the people there are farmers. There's some military
who will do better. Even if you're a farmer, you'll do better. The value of your land will go up. The value of what you produce will go up. You won't have to ship it as far. You'll have people there you could sell it to. I mean, it's a win-win all across the board.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. Well, I also wanted to ask you, is this kind of a personal question, Steve?
Oh, gosh. Again? Again?
What is your shower routine? When you
it's been a month or two, so I'll have to think about that.
When you get in and you turn on the water, what is the order of things that
I
you
wash my hair.
Okay.
I put conditioner in my hair.
You put conditioner in your hair?
I put conditioner in my hair. I know there's not much left, but I still do that. I soap up my body head to toe. I have one soap for my body and one soap for my face because I don't like the perfume stuff on my face.
Oh.
And then I rinse off and I squeegee the shower and boom, done.
You've been doing it all wrong. You've been doing it all wrong.
Oh, please enlighten me, Michelle.
Well, the warm days are upon us, and I know Sierra's going to laugh at this, and I've learned a new term, your sit-down smell. And
you told me that story. I could not get it out of my head. I was someplace, and somebody walked by me, and they were not right, and I thought to myself, oh, their sit down smell is probably not good.
That's your sit down smell. So this has been trending right now as far as what your shower routine should be. And this works for men or women. And, at the very beginning, they start off by saying you should set the mood. You should light a candle. You should put on your favorite playlist. If it's especially for me, if it's hot or whatever, if it's a hair wash day, you need to put your hair up in a shower cap. But before you get in the shower, you get a dry brush and you vigorously dry brush your skin.
You're kidding.
Yes. So and it helps exfoliate before the water hits, right? And you're going to brush upwards towards your heart. It's great for lymphatic drainage and smoother skin. Okay. So that's even before you turn the water on.
Okay.
Okay. So now you turn the water on. And you're going to double cleanse your face, especially if you are a female like me and you have makeup. So you want to first cleanse it with an oil-based cleanser to remove the makeup, and then you cleanse it with a water-based.
Well, I do all that.
Okay, so you're cleaning your face first before your body because the yuck from your face is going down your body. Okay, I'm just telling you. I've been doing this for 2 days because I just wanted to see. There's a lot of freaking steps in this.
It's too much work already, I could tell you, and I don't think you're even halfway through.
Oh, I'm not even in the body.
Okay.
So now you get to the body. So first you're going to clean it with some unscented soap, just like a Dove or whatever, right? And you're going to use your hands or a washcloth. So that's the That's the cleansing phase, right? It's going to remove the dirt, the sweat, deodorant, oils, whatever. Your second phase is a deep clean, right? And what you're going to do...
Power washer.
Power wash. You're going to treat and you're going to deep clean it. So now you're going to use an exfoliation, right? You're going to use an exfoliator. And you're either going to do that with an African net sponge, an exfoliating glove, or a loofah.
I can tell you at this point, we have lost every one of our male listeners.
No, we haven't, because they're interested in how people are.
No, they're not.
So then you're going to use a scented body wash. I'm still going.
Oh, my God.
But it's crazy because it's just like layer after layer after layer. 2 to 3 times a week. You're also going to use a sugar scrub or a coffee scrub. Have you ever coffee scrubbed your body?
I have seen it, but no, I've never done it.
It actually feels really good. You do your elbows, your knees, behind your thighs, your hands, your feet, whatever. Then you're going to shave, right? If you're a woman, you're going to shave. And then towards the very end, that's when you're going to do your lady and your man bits, okay? Gosh. And your lady and your man bits, that's a whole different level. You know, you're not going to touch anything there that you've touched anywhere on your face. Then you're going to do a cold water rinse, like a flash of cold. Have you ever done a cold water rinse?
I actually do that quite a bit.
Before you get out and dry off, you're going to put a little bit of oil on your skin.
Okay.
And then, because it'll lock in all that hydration, especially someone like you have real dry skin.
I have very dry skin.
You should maybe try this. Then you're going to put some rich body oil or, lotion or body butter. And then you put your deodorant on. By the time an hour and a half has passed and you have showered, you are going to smell so good.
I feel like I've worked up a sweat just sitting here listening to how much work that is.
So I was telling this story to Sierra last night. She goes, I do about 95% of that. I'm like, that's
impressive.
That's a lot of product.
Yeah.
That is a lot of product.
My longest showers are 5 minutes. I'm in and out and moving on down the road.
It takes 5 minutes just to wet my hair.
Well, you got a lot more hair than I do, but man, that's
that is a step. But the reason behind all of this is obviously summer, and different people have different oil glands and how they carry odor. Yeah. But it's all about the exfoliation and getting all the dead skin off. Yeah. It's also not only good for your health, for the lymphatic drainage, but it's also great for aging skin too. So
I'm pretty sure my 3 days of swimming every week in that heavily chlorinated pool at the YMCA gets rid of a lot of dirt on my skin.
I'm sure nothing can live on that with as much chlorine as you are.
It's probably one of the reasons my skin is so dry.
Yeah, maybe you should at least try the oil before you get out.
I may try that because my skin is getting a little bit crusty.
You know what I like?
And I am getting older.
You don't even have to buy the expensive stuff. I like the Trader Joe's. It's lemongrass.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's like $3.
Oh, I'll have to try it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
We completely forgot to talk about who our guest is today.
Oh, well.
Sasha Vasquez is joining us. She's a local resident here. We know her through real estate. She's a member of the Dripping Springs Elite Real Estate Professionals. Absolutely love her. I got a little dressed up today because she usually comes dressed to the nines, so we'll see.
Is that dressed up?
This is as dressed up as I get for work.
Is that your dress up plaid shirt?
This is one of my dress up plaid shirts.
Here, I'm going to put the camera right on you. Yes. You're right. It's not denim. Look sure.
At that. Okay.
For sure.
But I love Sasha, so we're going to take a little break and get her in here. So sit tight. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of being left in the dark when the power goes out? Say goodbye to blackouts with Nomic Power Solutions.
As your full-service Generac dealer, they offer individually designed backup power solutions.
From start to finish, they've got you covered.
Nomic Power Solutions, keeping you powered up.
Call or text 512-387-4232 or visit nomicpower.com. Follow on Instagram at Nomic Power for updates.
Nomic Power Solutions. Protect your home, protect your family, stay ready. South Star Bank has remained true to its Texas roots for over 100 years. A commitment to the people and communities they serve, along with flexible financial solutions, allow their clients to shine. Mortgage loans, checking accounts, or complete business solutions. South Star Bank is your financial partner. South Star Bank, trusted by professionals, backed by tradition, built for Texas.
SouthStarBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender, NMLS 410624. Find your joy at Jovi Belterra. Life is better here. This vibrant 55 and up community is located in Dripping Springs, just right outside of Austin. 1 and 2 bedroom homes, resort-style amenities, and just steps away from shops and restaurants. Forget the yard work. This is your time to relax, make new friends, and enjoy the life you've dreamed of. Find your joy at Jovi Belterra. Life is better here. Live JoviBelterra.com, 737-387-6870.
This show is brought to you in part by the Mallet Integrity Team, serving Dripping Springs, Austin, and the surrounding areas of Central Texas since 2004. When you need the best real estate advice and service, give them a call at 512-829-2062 or email them at malletintegrityteam.com. And now here's Steve and Michelle.
And we are back here with Sasha Vasquez. She is a real estate agent with Douglas Elliman, and she is also one of our favorite agents with Dripping Springs Elite Real Estate Professionals, and we just adore her. Welcome.
Our friend and comrade, no pun intended, which will make sense in a second.
That's right. We are so excited to have you on. When I asked you to be on the podcast, you were like, what? I'm not interesting at all. And I was like, girl, you were born in Russia, you grew up in Canada, and you live here in Dripping Springs, Texas. There is a lot of story there to unpack.
Oh my God. Well, I have huge imposter syndrome sometimes. So like, I'm like, oh, no, what?
Well,
me? Okay, fine.
And not only on top of that, you've got a really successful real estate business and you're a young family and you're very plugged into the community. You got a lot going on. We want to hear all about that. But first, how did you end up in Dripping Springs?
Well, the first time I heard of Dripping Springs was about 11 years ago. I was in Toronto still.
Really?
I was literally working corporate world in Toronto. And my husband, fiance at the time, he just moved to Austin. He relocated, and I was following him the following year. And he's like, hey, I just went to this like brewery. He lived downtown at the time, downtown Austin. He's like, I just went to this brewery, and it was in this town called Dripping Springs, Texas. It's really cute. Like maybe, this will be our town when we, move to raise a family. And I'm a downtown girl. Like I was living downtown Toronto. I was like, what? First of all, that's a very funny name for a town. Second of all, if I'm not able to go down the stairs and walk to a coffee shop on my feet, 2 feet, I'm not moving.
Oh, jeez.
But
you were a real city girl.
Oh, very, very. So even in Russia, I grew up downtown of the city. Like we lived in a building. Suburbia is just, I don't know. It was not me. But I looked up the home prices, and I was already a homeowner at a time. So I was like, what? You can get a house, like 4,000 square feet house. I think I was looking at Rimrock back then on Bonterra for $450,000. That was 2014.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, well, maybe I'll research that town a little bit more. But years later, we end up in Austin, Texas, and we had first kid. We moved to about a house in South Austin. And then, we just kind of started outgrowing things. It's natural progression, and Dripping Springs was right there.
Yeah. But you're born and raised in Russia. You lived in Russia until you were 15. Tell us about that.
Correct.
What was that like growing up in Russia? You got to have really strong memories of that.
Well, first off, where did you grow up in Russia? Like where?
Yeah, so it's a city. It's not a town. It's a pretty big city called Volgograd, because it's on the river Volga. But what most people may recognize the town from is it used to be called Stalingrad. Mm-hmm. And that is a war-famous city. And there's actually a movie with Jude Law called Enemy at the Gate, where it was literally filmed right around where I was, like, spent my entire childhood, like downtown of my city, where it just gets... It basically got erased. It was leveled to the ground during the World War II. And so... it was rebuilt by my grandma back up. My everybody who was kind of growing up after that were being moved to that city to get it rebuilt.
To repopulate it.
So not really by choice. A lot of them, it was,
Is that where you were born as well?
I was born, yeah. In fact, my mom and me were born in the same birthing center.
Wow.
You don't give birth in hospitals in Russia back then. You go to a birthing center, and you stay there for 2 weeks with your baby without anybody.
Really?
I think I'm going to Russia to have a
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, but
So the whole town, the whole city is newer. It's 50 or 60 or 70 years old at the most.
Yeah, the building I grew up in, that's where my grandma brought my mom to, the same apartment, and then my parents brought me to that same apartment. I mean, we didn't have money. We grew up with barely anything. So the fact that my, grandma had this apartment that was given to her because of, war hero and her husband, my grandfather worked he was a conductor on a train, and that was a really privileged profession, believe it or not, to be a conductor and run the trains. And that's why that actually apartment complex where I grew up in, it was right next to the railroads because my grandpa was working there. So, but I grew up, the first 14 years of my life, I was in that apartment.
Were you living with your grandmother?
My grandmother, yeah. My grandpa passed away before I was born. But my grandmother lived with us. And then my dad moved in with us. Well, I should say, my dad moved in before I was born. Yeah. And so it was just, it was a 3-bedroom apartment, so it was larger, but 3-bedroom, meaning it's like literally 3 rooms and the kitchen. It's not like there is no like a living room or loft or flex space or anything.
Yeah. We're so lucky here.
Oh gosh, the Texas, everything's bigger in the U.S. in general. And just even when I moved to Canada, I was like, people were complaining about spaces, and I'm like, oh, you guys don't even know.
Sometimes we go a little too far. What was it like going to school in Volgograd?
So, fun fact about schools in Volgograd, they all have numbers. They don't have names.
Okay.
So every time I saw the whole debate about the new Wildwood Elementary Springs. I was like, oh, that sounds so pretty. When it's like Emerald Springs or like Blue Bonnet Springs. I was like, my school was number 81. I don't know. My mom went to school number 83.
Is that right?
And then I had a neighbor who went to school number 19.
And you liked it.
Yeah.
And there was no like pattern as to why they were numbered. It was just,
really?
Yeah, maybe there was. I haven't really looked into it. But
Did you feel like the education system's pretty good there?
Whoa. I think it's because, I don't know. That's a whole can of worms that I don't know if you want me to open up, but the teachers were very strict to the point of, like, they would literally bully.
Beat you.
Not in my times. There was one kid, actually, the teacher who I loved dearly. She was hilarious. She kept on telling to this one kid, she's like, if you keep on turning around to talk to the kid behind you, I'm going to bring a belts, and I'm going to tie you to the chair so that you could, and I think she kept on saying it over and over again, probably for like a few months, and then finally she did it. She did it. And we were all laughing, and he was laughing. Like, it was hilarious. She got in trouble. She was actually, but she was, in fact, when I already moved to Canada, like 10 years later, I would come and I would visit her because she was just hilarious. And she would always did what was right. But
that's cool.
But some teachers are not like that, and they just
going through the motions.
Yeah, or just they liked the whole. They have the power, and they would just get these kids, especially like kids in middle school. They would just go at them they would just scream at them. They would just point at them in front of the whole class, like, you didn't do your homework. So we were always doing our homework. We paid attention. There wasn't any disrespecting the teacher situation.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh, I bet there wasn't.
No, there was not.
Because when I was a kid and you disrespected your teacher, they would say you're going to be sent to Russia. So I can't imagine what it was like. How was your social life when you were a young teen, kind of growing up there? What did you do for fun?
So I guess I moved to Canada when I was 15. So
you're like 13,
but yeah, I was
14,
like 13, 14. Oh gosh. I mean, we already started the process of immigrating when I was about 14 or 13, actually. 13. So it took 2.5 years to get all the I mean, it's not easy to immigrate to Canada, but well, I mean, I was just like a regular kid. We would go to these events. City would host events, disco parties, or like concerts, I would say, which is why I think, ACL is just near and dear to my heart. Like the whole square, like a Zilko Park situation, we had that in my town.
Did you listen to American music?
Yeah, like no doubt. I remember all those clips with butterflies, saying Backstreet Boys was like my, I know there's NSYNC Backstreet Boys. I was Backstreet Boys through and through. My whole apartment, a room was posters all the way to the ceilings. Like they were just going everywhere. Just a regular childhood, honestly. I mean, it was it was tough. You know, sometimes we didn't have much money, and you know, my dad would be between jobs, not by choice, but because you know it was 90s in Russia, and they were wild. You know, my dad has two high educations, which would be equivalent to, you know, having your master's, and in you know his line of work, which is mechanic and electrician and trades and all this, computer science, all that. Yeah, but he just found himself just not being able to find a job. So,
was that the catalyst that decided, okay, as a family, I'm gonna? And why Canada? Why did he choose Canada?
So my mom actually found, she was talking to some girlfriends, and I guess they knew they had this link of someone who moved to Canada, and so they opened up that conversation. And I remember they used to send us these VCR tapes of them walking around the apartments in like sketchy areas of Toronto, which I now would look at sketchy, but back then I thought, oh my gosh, look at these new apartments. It's like, this is what we drive, this is where we live, and it's like everything's landscaped and beautiful. And in Russia, I mean, it's like our apartment, just to give you perspective, was never renovated professionally. Like, it was my mom or my grandma would just, my dad put wallpaper on and try to, you know, paint the floors. We would literally paint. And I mean, it was really bad. I mean, we had cockroaches. It was pretty bad.
Well, that had to give you, now that you live in the United States, give you a perspective to really appreciate everything that you have now.
Oh my God. If I could, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why sometimes my tolerance for people complaining about something, I was like, oh, gosh, that's so trivial, but okay, you know.
Yeah. You do have a very positive attitude. When did you get into real estate?
So I have always been fascinated with real estate. In fact, my best friend is a real estate agent in Toronto, Canada, and I've kind of wanted to get into that field, but I just didn't think Toronto was a place for me to do that. Literally all my close friends were real estate agents. So when I moved to Austin, my dear husband said, hey, listen, I just finally got my papers. He's like, this is your chance. He's like, why don't you, what is it that you want to do? But if you're going to do it, you better do it 1,000%. And I said, it's going to have to be real estate, because I could literally see Austin where Toronto was when I first moved at 15. Where it is right on the brink of this crazy boom. And I just had this feelings like, I got to start now. He's like, all right, well, you know.
What did you do in Toronto? When you said you were in corporate. I
worked for Aon, which is insurance, commercial insurance brokerage. So they do all kinds of development insurance, high rises, liability for these big projects, kind of all over the. So that's what I did. Yeah. Just did account.
When you first got into real estate, you weren't an agent, you weren't in sales, right? Or were you an agent, but you were working in an office somewhere? Is that right? Or
when I first got in real estate?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was with Keller Williams. I knew that this is the place for me to start because I heard just incredible training program that they had, which they did, and that's what catapulted me. I knew I never wanted to be on a team. I wanted to be a single producing agent, maybe grow a team one day. But that's kind of where I started. And in fact, when I first got into real estate, I think I knew 3 people that my husband knew, and they all just bought houses. So I knew nobody in town.
Oh, geez. Oops.
Oh, look at that. Carlisle Kennedy is calling in the middle of the podcast.
I thought I had it on. That means I got to put $25 in the bin, right?
In the kitty. Look at that. Way to go, Carlisle.
Good thing we love her.
Yes,
we love her for sure. I was going to ask you how, now living here in Texas, and being a mom of 3 beautiful girls, how are you balancing that home work life? We kind of talked about it a little bit before we started recording, but...
I mean, if not for my dear husband, I don't think I would be able to
having a good partner.
Yeah, having a good partner is definitely it. I mean, he's always been there for me from the time where I literally had nobody here to sell homes to, and I would literally go door knocking and cold calling, and I would just come to him crying and say, I'm not doing this anymore. He's like, no, you just gotta, you gotta go back there, and he would just be my psychiatrist basically.
Yeah.
And then
we all need one of those in this business.
And fast forward, a few kids later, it's he's every time I ask him, listen, I'm sorry, I have these clients in town and they're only in town for Saturday and Sunday. And even if we had plans, I was like, can you watch the girls? And he would just always respond with yes. So,
He's been a big supporter of your career,
1,000%,
for sure.
1,000%.
You mentioned in your bio that you're doubling down on your agent relationships this year. And I know it's part of the answer to this, but how are you doing that?
Well, I realized that we're so much stronger together when we just combine our talents. I mean, my gosh, our talents, our expertise.
Yeah. And
I think that a lot of agents are missing that type of opportunity.
Yeah.
When they just kind of doing the whole lone wolf thing, which I did. I've tried that route, but I think that you just have this powerhouse when you combine talents. So one of them, as you know, I'm part of. I've joined Dripping Springs Elite,
Yep.
which is a very well respected.
Which we've loved having you. You've been a really participated in such a great way and really contributed. We've loved having you.
Thank you so much. I've actually heard of this organization even before I moved to Dripping Springs, and I was like, wow, how do I get there?
Yeah.
And so it was really, really awesome to be able to finally join and to meet so many amazing agents, and to bring in more agents with this collaborative attitude, with high standard of ethic and passion for giving back to the community. I mean, That's kind of what I've done. It brings me joy to just give back to this town, that is so welcoming. And
when I was reading through your bio, I realized that you have realized that being a high-profile agent in your town gives you some power to have really positive impacts on the community, and you're doing that by getting involved in a lot of stuff. What kind of stuff outside of just plugging your business are you doing in the community right now, besides Dripping Springs Elite?
Well, when I first moved here, I have lived in one of the neighborhoods, and I discovered just how many talented individuals, business owners, or people who have these passion projects to the side that, are willing to share it with others. And I said, why don't we start with this, sip and shop thing, just like a small little community event. And a couple of us business owners came together, and I just decided to just ask all the other neighbors. I was like, hey, does anybody in the neighborhood have any talents or businesses that they want to promote? And so this ended up blowing up into this semi-annual sip and shop event.
Oh, cool.
And so that's kind of where I met a lot of business owners. And we've started it, I think it was almost 4 years ago. And it was since then, I've moved out of that neighborhood. But I started to throw other events that are collaborative, whether it's a beauty, whether it's a local boutique. I would just, get a wine from, some revival, get snacks from somewhere else local. And then it would just really be a very low cost investment, because all these businesses you collaborate together and you sponsor each other, and then you just blow it up on social media or through all these groups, and then community comes and everybody's just so grateful. He's like, hey, we didn't even know this existed or this product existed. And then I could see this relationship fostering. They're just bonding with each other, and then it just becomes, and then they do collaborations. And so it's just, it just brought me so much joy. I mean, there's just so much talent in this city. And that's kind of my biggest thing, is just supporting other businesses and
I think that's
passion
great.
projects.
I think there's a lot of real estate agents that get into this business that never realize that. And the fact that you're fairly early on in your career and you've already realized that and are leveraging that to way more than most people ever would is fantastic.
I think this could be a personal question, or this could be a career question too. But, being born in one area, kind of spending your young adult life in another area, and now raising a family in this area, do you feel like your identity kind of has evolved in each place that you've lived in? Are you building on each identity, or are you kind of recreating a new Sasha every spot? I mean, it is kind of cool to think, you come from Toronto and you're like, you know what? I can be a totally different person than I was in Canada.
You know what? That's actually a really good question. And I was just reflecting on it this year. I probably started about last year, because it's just having a third child and kind of having all these large goals that I've have as a family and as myself, I realized that, okay, maybe it's just like a not midlife crisis, but a revelation, I should say.
Yes.
You're not midlife yet.
I'm
Trust me,
approaching 40
Sasha.
next year.
Oh God, you're so young. Wish I could do that again.
But I
40
think
was good.
40, yeah, I'm excited actually. But I think, yes, in a way, I feel like I'm finally getting to know myself, truly in a way because of all of these factors. And I think it's very interesting that now I'm becoming a little bit more, a lot more confident of who I am. So I'm bringing a little bit something from my culture. Like that's just how I grew up, right? So my tolerance for certain things with people could be a little bit low when I'm just like, listen, like, sweetie, like it's gonna be okay.
I'm telling you that I think that is a 40s mindset though too, because in your 30s you're still kind of struggling, like who am I? I still feel like a girl, but I'm somebody's mother. Like somebody's trusted me to be their mom and their wife, and I'm the responsible adult here. But then when you get girl, wait till you get to your 50s, you get to my age.
Oh my
It's
gosh, I love it.
Wait till you get to your 60s.
I can't wait. Yeah, but it's just right now I have responsibility because I have 3 women to raise.
Yes.
You know, and if I can just give them some sort of shortcuts so that they don't have to learn the hard way, some things that I had to learn the hard way, I would like to do that.
I
Some
hear
of the
that.
best lessons in life, though, are the hard ones
That's
that you
true.
learn.
I hear that. So I wanted to talk to something about something to you. It's probably a little bit emotional, but I know your mom passed shortly after your first child was born. And, I lost my mom when my daughter, my youngest, was 3-4 years old. And I always kind of felt like there was something lacking, right? Like I didn't have that one person, even though my mom was tough, but still to kind of bounce things off. And now I'm approaching the age where she died. And so that's always kind of be in the back of my head. But what is something that you're hoping to share with your children about your mom, even though they will never know her? Something that you pass on
Wow,
to
that's
them.
a good question.
Yeah, so my mom was diagnosed with colon cancer when my oldest was around 9 months. And she passed when she met my second one. She met her when she was 2 months, but she passed when my second one was around 9 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my firstborn remembers her she says she remembers her well. She remembers, and she always talks about the time, because it was during pandemic. So we were in Toronto, the whole family, and we had to do,
Spend a lot of time together. Yeah.
Home death, not home birth, because of you couldn't. If you go to a hospice, they won't let you in to say goodbye. So I mean, we had no choice. I mean, we can't. So she remembers. She doesn't remember the moment my mom passed, but she remembers like literally the day before, the day of, like everything. And it's just, and my second one was a baby, and I mean, it was just hectic. Like it's obviously some very emotional time of my life. But my second one, she's now 4. Well, she'll be 5 in August. She doesn't remember her, but she remembers of her. She sees the pictures. We always, every birthday, we celebrate with a cake. It's Baba's birthday. She always talks about her. She sees pictures. I show them videos, and I really try to keep the culture alive, because I mean, it's my third one never met her, and how we do it is a lot. I need to have a little bit more time, but through cooking, my mom was always a big, cook and hostess. Like she would love to host people. She would we had barely anything, but when we had a party or something growing up, it was her show. She would just make all these little salads. And my husband likes to tell this story. When he first met my parents, the whole table was covered with food. Oh, wow. And, and it was like, he didn't even know what half of it was, but he was just like eating it. And it was like, what is this? Like, well, there's so much stuff. I try to do that, have like a little tradition here and there. I think one thing I need to perfect is her like extra thin crepes. It's a Russian, we call them Russian pancakes, but they're extra thin. So, which I'm gonna be in trouble because I haven't done that yet. But and then a lot of people ask us like, do you teach your girls Russian? And the answer is, oh gosh, I tried with my oldest, and then it's just I've left Russia when I was 15, so it's like at this point in my life, I just kind of embraced myself within culture that is just I even think in English.
Oh,
even my best friend who I've met when I was 15 in Canada at a high school. We were from neighboring towns in Russia, and we met in high school in Toronto. And we're actually going to Vegas in 2 days. Her and I, we're both turning 39 this year, and I already did. And so we're moms, and she's a real estate agent, so we just have so much in common. But yeah, it was even her and I speak in like half English, half Russian.
I was going to
It's a
ask.
hard language to learn, right?
It's
a very
hard.
difficult language.
It's very difficult language to learn. But I've actually noticed that the fact that I'm not pushing too much Russian, my oldest tries to speak it. She gets curious about it. And I was like, do you want me to sign you off for like online courses? She's like, no. But maybe. So we'll see. We'll see.
That's great that you're hooking up with a friend like that. Because I know from a personal experience, grief is such a multi-layered thing, but also not only are you grieving your mom, it's your homeland, and so that's your connection to your homeland. So it is cool to kind of be able to share a little bit of that. What is the favorite dish that your mom would totally make?
Oh my gosh, it has to be her cake. It's called bird's milk cake. Oh. And I have a friend here who she tried to recreate it. She found everything online and she tried to recreate it, and it was so sweet. But it's I haven't even tried to recreate it because it's just she always used to tell the story that she was on maternity leave with me, and she wanted to make this. She wanted to perfect wine cake. She failed so many times, and she kept on making over and over and over again until she was happy with it. And then every birthday growing up, whether it was my birthday, my dad's birthday, anybody, grandma's, she would make this cake. And it's just, I can still taste it. And it's I can't explain it. It's a lot of layers. It's a lot of whisking, and it's just a lot of baking. and then it's got chocolate and nuts on top of it.
And you can't go to H-E-B and buy it in a box.
You cannot.
No, I've never even heard that.
Chocolate and nuts. Steve's in. Steve's like, okay, I want some of this.
I know from personal that balancing your personal life with this hectic, crazy professional life that we have is really difficult. And I've said this to Michelle a number of times. The problem, it's a blessing and a curse. The harder you work in real estate, the more money you make. So you have to sort of decide, okay, that's my line right there. How do you keep that? Because you obviously do. How do you keep that work-life balance?
Well, first of all, the more money you make in real estate, the more you give away to IRS. I just mentioned that because I was like, where is the money?
Isn't that the truth? Yeah.
You guys aren't just rolling in it right now?
Yeah. Well, and then all the other expenses go up too.
Right. Which is why, I think it's important to, it goes ebbs and flows, right? So sometimes you're really busy. Like I just had a really crazy Q1, which is I'm really grateful for, but also there are sometimes you're stressed when you have business, you're stressed when you have dry months. So you just have to kind of take a deep breath and know that it's now I'm getting to this point of my career where I'm like, okay, when it is a quiet time, enjoy it. Take that vacation, because as soon as that plane takes off, you're gonna get freaking client.
Truth? Michelle says that all the time. Hey, we need some contracts. Go on vacation.
Yeah, please go.
Always happens.
Please go away on vacation.
It never failed me. And so, other than that, lately I just started to say no to some things because I am a people pleaser, and I think it's just we need to get. I realized that I need to really start picking and choosing how I spend my time and there's a really good book I'm reading right now, Essentialism, by Greg McKeown, I think. And it tells you, it just hits the nail on the head. We're just overcommitting ourselves, and we're running 1,000 miles an hour. But we're not really
going
productive.
Anywhere.
We're not productive. And then if you don't get a moment to just sit in peace and chill, like I realize, like, if I don't work out, I'm just not, my mental health is not there, And then if I don't kind of carve out time a week, like Mondays, and I've mentioned that before, I try not to schedule anything on Mondays in terms of meetings or client showings or anything. Monday is after having the whole weekend with working or with kids or both at the same time. Monday is my time to just chill, like drop those kids off and just chill, schedule something for myself. I'm very reactive. Sometimes maybe I'll, catch up on emails or paperwork and things like that. But usually it's just...
If we let people, they will run us ragged. You do have to set some boundaries. Like, clients that want to text with you at 10 o'clock at night, it's like, is this an emergency? Nope. Then we'll talk about it in the morning.
Unless they're from California.
Yeah.
They're 2 hours behind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some extenuating circumstances, but for the most part, nothing that happens at 10 o'clock at night is an emergency.
No,
it's
not
just
in real estate.
they're trying to wipe it off their plate and put it on your plate. And so you can do that, but let's do it tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Or 7:30.
I heard something the other day. It said the only thing that's opened after 10 o'clock at night are either
oh gosh,
your legs, the ER, or jail.
I knew this was coming too.
Oh my gosh, Michelle. Oh,
so you don't need to do any of that.
God.
I
totally
love
lost my train of thought
I love
there.
Timbers. What is the one thing that you love about Texas that you could never ever find in Canada or Russia?
Oh, Tex-Mex.
Oh gosh.
Margaritas.
I bet they don't have Tex-Mex in Canada, do they?
They do. They try to, but it's going to be like $25 a taco with these fancy options. And then you have to dress up to the nines to go to this Mexican restaurant. And it's just like everything. And then you go here, you go to the food truck, you get the best food. Oh my God.
The
from like a
$4
food truck.
tacos are amazing.
Or Shell gas stations sometimes at the back where you're like thinking you may have some digestive issues after, but it is going to be the best taco you'll ever have.
Look at Flores Tacos down here by the high school. It is literally a shack, and they have great tacos, and they're like $3.50. Yeah,
amazing. Honestly, the Tex-Mex, it's very underrated in the whole world because there's just something. I mean, that's one thing, but it's just the way of living, like the relaxed way of living. After living in Russia and in Toronto, which is the city, and everybody just go. Toronto is basically New York of Canada, corporate, and it's just people would just commute. I remember commuting. Oh my gosh, like these mothers would have children or babies, and then they would have to live because the cost of living in Canada is just astronomical. So you travel. There's a really good train system. So you travel on the train, and then you park. You pick up your car from a parking lot and you drive another 25 minutes to your house. Jeez. Right. And then you do the same thing. You do it twice a day, morning and night. But people, they usually have Wi-Fi. So you work or you nap, whatever. But then they would just do that over and over again. And then it's just like that type of living is just not,
that's hamster
crazy.
On a wheel type living. You're just running the motor there.
Right. And which is why when I moved here, I was like, I'm going to farm the heck out of this town because I don't like driving too far. Yeah. I don't like sitting in town. I just want to be around the people I like, around my community. I want to just double down on it and just help where I can help. And and that's...
So are you saying this downtown girl is kind of turned a little country?
I think so. I totally say it. And I love country music. I love country.
Oh,
that's
good.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Sasha, you're really big on social media. I mean, you have a really good presence on social media. Give our listeners some advice on how they can make their social media more effective for what they're trying to do.
Well, one thing I'm going to say, be careful with TikTok.
I have a question.
You should probably tell that story.
I have that was my rage baiting on TikTok.
I had to learn what rage bait was last week. I had no idea it was a term.
Sasha and I were interacting on TikTok, and then people started attacking me.
Of course they did. Yes, because that's what they do.
Oh my God. It's, would you want me to tell you that?
Tell that story.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with, we have all these social media channels that we can utilize for our business, for our personal, for corporate, family, right? And Facebook, and everybody's kind of hanging out. Different age groups hang out in different platforms. So as we know, Facebook is a little bit more,
Older.
Instagram is more millennial. And then LinkedIn is more corporate, and I need to get involved more there, but it's a lot more polished. And then there's unhinged TikTok.
Yeah. I love.
That's a good way to describe it.
TikTok, which is more younger people, I think Gen Zs and,
It's the shit. And old people like me that just want to pay attention. Yeah.
So I never go in it. And when I do, I just post some like silly video and like, maybe it'll go viral. Right? And so I posted the same story of my husband strolling my baby at a restaurant at a Desert Door.
Yeah, you were at Desert Door.
Yeah, he it's so funny. She's kind of getting fussy, and I'm just like, can you just take her and stroll her around? Like, I need to enjoy my cocktail in peace. He's like, all right. So he gets this baby, and he goes through like strolling her at the same time. Literally, you cannot make this up. At the same time, this entire bachelorette party of these like really good looking done up girls get up and they just swarm him. And then here I am. I'm like, oh, this is gold. And knowing my husband, like, he's like the most harmless, like, we have the most secure marriage probably out of anybody I know personally because we're literally best friends. But I just like, this is gold. So I take this video and then I post it on Instagram, just to my stories, and everybody just like having a laugh. He's like, oh my God, Louis, that's hilarious. It's like that man with a cute puppy thing. Like the girls were like, oh my God, look at the baby. And then I post the same thing on TikTok.
Then TikTok enters the chat.
Oh my gosh. He got like
roasted.
He
was like,
pieces.
One of them was, I hope this love never finds me. And then there was
divorce
just like,
him.
Divorce him.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a pretty prominent one because I read
know.
through some of the comments like, divorce him. You should leave him right away. Like, what?
Where's the red flag guy? It was like, oh my God, you people, like, get over yourself.
They're jealous of the life you have.
You know what? It is. They're jealous of a secure marriage, of a long time marriage.
They don't know me though. Like, I never posted.
They don't.
So
Whatever.
that's the thing. So
They're
that's
so
why
quick
I'm
to
just
judge, right?
Yeah. So that's so that was that. So I learned.
So don't
by
get on
mistake.
TikTok is what I hear. There. Like, give us one other piece of advice for people that are trying to grow their social media presence. What other?
Yeah. So I think you have to really look into your own brand and like what you represent and how you want to be viewed, because a lot of those platforms is your free marketing. Like, how do you want to appear to your public, right? What do you like, right? So, for example, I am a mother. I'm a wife. I have 3 girls. I'm an immigrant. I'm from Russia. I'm funny. I like jokes. I'm a real estate agent. I have a love for community and for small businesses. And so I just take that and I curate it. Honestly, these days you could just post all those things in ChatGPT and just say, easy button. They like create a social media plan. Like, what do I post if this is who I am? But you have to really put it down on paper and do some self-reflecting of like who you are as a person.
And who you want to promote yourself even more so.
How do you want to, right. Like, how do you, because this is going to make you much more happier when you post on a daily basis, because you're going to post something you love, right? B, you're going to be, liked probably because people will follow you that resonate with you, right? And that's kind of who you want to work with at the end of the day anyway.
That's right.
Right. And so, and I think, it's just making it more simple. It takes the thought process out of your head. Like, don't overthink it. Don't try to be somebody you're not, unless you want to rebrand yourself to somebody who you want to be, Right. If that makes sense.
It does. You have a template for what you want to put out there on social media, and you follow that template.
Correct.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. My template makes no sense.
Oh, I love your template. Oh my God, yes, it does though. Yes,
I think it does. We don't have it written down, but it kind of.
My template, personally.
Oh,
she
you're
says
talking
I'm
about
her,
the personal one.
She says
you definitely do.
I'm her bedtime stories.
Oh, I just love it. My algorithms love you, and I'm just like.
I put it into I put it into Chat GPT, and it came back with one word: smartass. That sums you up. Yes, that's your template right there.
You have to take me very seriously or not seriously at all.
That is true.
But one thing's true: I'm very authentic.
That's what people love, though.
Oh yeah, of course. We try and be as authentic as we can on our social media. But I got one more real estate question for you. Where do you see your business in 5 or 10 years from now? I know you got a plan for it.
Well, I'm really working on just work with people I love,
Oh, yeah?
which is you can't control, right?
Well, yeah, you can at some point.
I think that's kind of where I want to be. And, I don't have a set plan for 5 years. I think I want to get some more freedom is what I know. I don't know how I'm going to get that freedom just yet, but I do know that I want to, whether it's going to be maybe hiring somebody. Once I hit that consistent, I'll be able to make Iris happy.
Yeah.
Carve it out, pay somebody to just, keep me sane. Or focus more on, just working with people I want to work with, and giving back to the community and being a little bit choosy with how I run my business. Right now, everybody's welcome, right? I mean, leases, I don't try not to stay away from leases much, but I don't have a solid answer how I'm going to pivot later in life, 5 years, right? But I have right now, everything works just great in terms of I have a really great transaction coordination team. I have really great title company partners. It's, photographer, everything. It's a smooth sailing machine. But I know there's gonna be this break point where I'm gonna be like, okay, if I want to grow to the next level,
You got to invest in it.
you got to start investing. So I'm kind of getting there, but I haven't really gotten to the other side yet.
You'll know when it happens. I knew when it happened for me that I had I was a single agent just doing my thing, and I got 13 listings, and I was like, there's no way I could do this on my own. And that was what prompted me to hire my first admin. But
I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
So then how would you know that the next year you're going to still have those 13 listings and it's going to be consistent plan? Because what about the dry months? Are you still going to pay?
You still got to pay them. You got to plan for that. You got to look at, okay, here's what I did this year. Do I expect that I'm going to be able to do that next year? And if I can't grow it, can I still pay that bill? And, but it has to be. It can't just be somebody that takes the business off, or takes the tasks off your plate. It has to be somebody that helps you increase the business, so that the expense, the weekly or monthly expense of that person, you can leverage to growing your business. So it can't just be somebody that takes something away. It has to be somebody. Michelle does this really well. She's a plus for the business. Well, she's
gold for sure. Yeah. You hit the jackpot over there.
I don't. When you were talking about somebody that keeps you sane, I don't think there's anything about me that keeps Steve sane.
No.
But no.
No, you do. We bounce stuff off each other all the time, and it's really helpful for me. And she definitely does leverage the business. We go. I went from when she first started working with me to, hey, you want to come and listen on a listing appointment, to now we go on every listing appointment together, because she brings things to the table that I don't have, and vice versa. And it's worked really well. So you got to find the right person. I guess
and that's what it is. And I am. Because I collaborate and I have a lot of agent friends, and I see them doing this, similar mistakes where the turnover and trying to make it seem and or partner up. It's really tough.
I'll tell you, if you can spend a good amount of time making sure that you have the right person, then that's worth every penny. If you just hire somebody just to fill the spot, yes, you'll have a lot of turnover and it won't work.
And I can tell you whether or not I was the right person when he was looking for or not, but I can tell you from my perspective is that I don't have to be here. I want to be here. And so if I feel like I'm valued, then that's where I have invested into the business. And I've been with Steve now 10 years in the business.
I think 11 now.
Well, maybe it's going on 11 years. Yeah, a long time. But that was my biggest, because, my kids were still in school and I was still balancing work. And now, we're empty nesters. But I am choosing to spend my days here. I don't have to spend my days here. Yeah. So that, I think, was the big difference between the longevity of our relationship. And some days I just do it because I know I torture him. So
I love it.
Isn't that 4 days out of 5?
It's about.
I'm not sure. I think on the 5th day, he's buying lunch today.
It's about 60-40 now.
Yeah. I want to pivot and talk about kind of what you do in your off time. So having a family and running a very high high profile business is very taxing. How do you take care of yourself? What do you do in your off time to recharge?
Spa.
Do you do a spa?
I do the spa. Well, I try to. I carve out the time to just go like somewhere to just sit or get a massage or just sit in quiet, or sometimes just go for a run and like around Lady Bird Lake downtown.
Yeah.
I used to, which I need to do more of. I used to just go and paddleboard when the weather is nice by myself, and just that peace on like Lady Bird Lake.
Be careful. A paddleboarder went missing Sunday.
Oh God, isn't it the same? Wasn't it?
It's
wasn't
18.
it like an Austin
It's
like
18
serial
now.
killer?
Yeah,
is that the same? Oh my God,
We were
right around
talking
there.
about that Saturday. It's starting to look like there's something going
Something
on.
happening.
A lot of
Gosh.
coincidences.
She was the
there.
18th or 19th, but don't worry, they
Well, I
found her.
don't know.
But
Okay,
she was
good.
a paddleboarder. When you said
Oh,
that, I was like,
boy.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
but maybe
yeah.
there's the debris and
Yeah.
stuff that's underneath there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Just like a good conversation with a friend, like just happy hour with a girl. I mean, I'm a mom, right? So at the end of the day, it's either real estate clients or it's my kids. Like or my husband, like we all, right? Like there's always we do get pulled as moms to a million different directions. There's a lot of chores that you have to do and things like that. So I think it's important to, like, for me, it's just anywhere I can carve out some time and peace to just, grab a drink with a friend, right? Or go for a nice peaceful walk or walk, definitely working out, been helping reading.
Yeah.
I think reading a real book, like with pages, not audible, that is such a luxury.
Yeah, it is.
Like
It
just
really
sitting
is.
with a coffee on the back porch with a book. Like that just sounds magical.
It's really hard in our business to do that. The last time I read a book cover to cover, we were backpacking in Oregon where I didn't have cell phone service, because normally you're sitting on there and you're enjoying the day and listening to the birds and you're reading, and then your phone just starts going.
Yeah,
and it's
because
really
there's
hard to
clients that
concentrate.
want you to work with them on your
and
vacation.
I get it, but yeah, it's just it's really hard to find that peace. It's you and I are a lot alike in that when I'm not I love what I do, and when I'm working I work really hard at it, but when I want my time off, I really value that peace and quiet.
That just made me think of something. I think one of the things I'm working on this year is to really set proper expectations with everybody, with my clients especially. I am going to be traveling quite a bunch this year, which I'm excited about. But I let everybody know, all my active clients. I was like, guys, like, we're out of option. Like, if we have some deals, right? But I am going to be gone from this day to this day. Just let me know if there's something like urgent that pops up. Like, I will absolutely have my phone on me, but I am taking some time off.
Yeah.
And I think
And
if you
that's
start
okay.
setting expectations, because us agents, and I think me in particular, like I would just be go with all these clients because I just have this, well, if I don't respond or if I'm missing, missing. Hopefully I'm not missing. But if I've gone missing from them, from my phone, I'm gonna come back and then they're gonna just like not like me, or they're gonna go with somebody else, or they're, and I think it's this anxiety of thinking something, or like imagining these what ifs is just so, most of the time, 90% of the time.
That's the benefit also being
fake.
with DS Elite is that you have this other network of agents that, hey guys, I'm going to be on vacation, that you have people that have your back. We may be competitors, but we're also we're collaborators.
All still help each other. We all believe that a rising tide raises all ships. We don't believe
so
that
true.
I don't feel like if you get a listing, that's at my expense. I feel like you doing very well helps my business, helps, Crystal's business or Betsy's business. It helps everybody do more business. So that's a different philosophy than a lot of the real estate networking groups that are out there. Yeah. Lewis, your husband,
Yes.
he's going to the Leadville 100-mile ultra run.
Yes, he
And
is.
so he's training hard for that right now. If he's
Very
going in
hard.
August, huh?
Oh, yes.
So has he started the part of the training where does he do his long runs on Saturday?
He usually does them on
Yeah,
the
so
weekends.
you don't see him till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturdays.
Yes, here I am with a baby.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And he comes back from a 5-hour run and he's exhausted. And
then I'd usually give them all 3 kids and it's like, bye, I'm showing.
Peace out. Yeah.
So he's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But
Wow, what a cool experience, though. I have a lot of friends that have tried to qualify to go to Leadville, and they just have not had the success yet. I think they will, but so you're going to go with him, and you're going to pace him the last 10 miles. Sounds like.
Yes. So he actually attempted Leadville in 2022, and he has made it to, I believe, 72 miles.
Yeah.
And his cardio and his mentality, like he wanted to finish.
Yeah.
His legs were fine. He was just not meeting the next cutoff. And so he got pulled from the race. And ever since that, it was just, I know, he's like, he literally even was trying to tell the park rangers, he's like, can I just finish? Like, I just want to finish, even if I don't get the buckle, like, I just want to finish it. And they're like, no, like, it's middle of the night, like, it's not safe. We're pulling you.
Right.
So ever since then, it's, and everybody's like, it's fine, this and this. And it's like, yeah, it is. But if you're a runner, and I'm sure you know, Steve, it's been on his back of his mind for so long. And every year he's been going to Leadville every year to pace others or to be a crew chief and help others achieve that goal. And so this year it's his turn. And so we're going, and the girls are going. We have a crew forming, and so I'm pacing him these last 10 miles. So last time I was supposed to pace him last 10 miles, and I didn't get
there.
And so I told him, I was like, listen, you got to finish. You got to finish because I want to pace.
Yeah, I'm sure he's learned a lot of lessons going there as a crew, and seeing all the people and what works and what doesn't work and how they overcome challenges. So this will be the time. So it's this year he's going.
It's August,
yeah.
This will be 16th, or whatever it is. It's Saturday.
Oh, that's cool.
You may not know. It's a race in Colorado, and I can't remember. There's like 8 mountain peaks over 10,000 feet. I can't remember, but it's all a trail run, and it's one of the most grueling races in the world.
Even just the what is it? The atmosphere,
the elevation,
elevation,
altitude.
It usually goes about a week before, and then we meet,
get acclimated.
Wow, that's really cool. Wish him the best of luck. I want to hear a report when it's done.
Absolutely.
So, you had.
I do. I have
it, this or that?
I have this or that, but before I get to my this or that, so I had one question. It wasn't a this or that question, but what was the biggest culture shock going from Russia to Canada or Canada to Texas? Which one was the biggest culture shock?
Probably Russia to Canada for sure.
And what was it? Was it?
First of all, the slang. I thought I knew English, but I was in Russia. They teach you the proper English, the British English. And then in Canada, it was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what is that? Like, what is this? And it was a slang, and I didn't even know what a slang was until I got there. So that was that. But the biggest, that's probably that, a culture shock.
Was it the food?
The food? Oh, yes. I know what the culture shock is. Grocery stores.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God. The big grocery stores. So in Russia, you go into these markets, like kind of like those little mini markets where you go in, and then you now they have where you can actually put it in the cart and check out, but they're still tiny. But back when I was growing up, you need a loaf of bread. There's a lady between you and the bread. And you come up, and the lady looks at you, she's like, she's not a nice lady.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you want? He's like, I want that one. Hurry up. There's people behind you. He's like, I want this one and that one. And it's like, here. And then you want yogurt, you go to another lady in the milk department or gentleman, whoever. You go to the fish, and the same thing. And then you pay them there. So it was different. So when I moved to Canada, and I remember going to these big stores and this big cart, and I think it's going to open up a whole other can of worms in terms of consumerism in Canada or here in the United States of like all this food. And then I've never seen the first grocery store shop we did. I was like, why is there so much food? Like even my parents
so many
were
different choices. Yeah.
Right. And then it was just like, how does it even, I was thinking, how's it going to fit in the fridge? Isn't it going to go bad? Like it's only 3 of us,
Yeah.
And so, yeah. But
and then you go to H-E-B.
Yeah. I know.
You're like, I'm never going back.
Oh gosh, yes.
I'm never going back.
Love.
Okay, so here's my this or that. Vodka or bourbon?
Vodka.
Maple syrup or barbecue sauce?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably maple syrup.
Oh, look at
Real
that.
maple syrup.
Real
right?
maple syrup. Mm-hmm.
Russian winters or Texan summers?
Oh. Half and half? No.
Half and half. There you go.
Yeah.
How about Russian winter during Texas summer?
There you go.
Texas summer
There you
during
go.
Russian
Oh,
winter.
there you go. That's a good answer.
Snow tires or pickup trucks? Did you ever have to have snow tires in Russia?
No, we didn't have to have snow tires in Russia.
I guess-
but we had all seasons in Canada, and they were just like not good. I would say snow tires.
Snow
probably,
tires.
yeah.
I don't know how to say this word. It's Poutine.
Poutine.
Poutine or brisket?
Poutine.
What is
really?
poutine?
Oh my gosh. Well, actually, brisket on top of poutine. You don't know what a poutine is?
no.
Poutine is like the best Canadian invention of all time. So poutine, it's these French fries. It has to be good poutine because, so French fries cooked to perfection. And then you have cheese curds. And then you have gravy that melts said cheese curds on top of these fries. And then so when you pick up a fry with this melted cheese curd and it's gravy on top, it is like,
Heaven.
It's heaven.
I don't know. I've never heard
and
of
you
that
can
before.
put some brisket on it or
Oh, there you
some
go.
like
Jeez.
chives, some, bacon.
Oh, my mouth's
and-
watering right
it's,
now.
It's good. I miss a good poutine.
And then the last question is or y'all?
Y'all all the way.
It's A.
I know it was like
Canada A.
I have I needed
Canada.
a cough. Canada
Canada.
Yeah.
Sasha, it's been a lot of fun.
was so
I'm
fun.
really glad that you spent this time with us today. And I've known you quite a while, but I've got to know you even better today. So thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me, guys. This
You're
was
so
a lot of fun.
welcome. We love having you on here, and we love being able to work with you also.
Oh, same
So,
here.
thank
The
you.
feeling is mutual. Love you guys.
Thanks, Sasha.
Of course.
Find your joy at Jovi Belterra. Life is better here. This thoughtfully designed 55-plus community is paired with resort-style amenities and social activities. They offer 1- and 2-bedroom homes located in Dripping Springs, the gateway to the Hill Country. Make friends, make memories, make time for you at Jovi Belterra. Live JoviBelterra.com, 737-387-6870.
From rodeo clowns, teachers or doctors, and everyone in between, Texans have one thing in common: hard work deserves smart banking. At South Star Bank, whether you're buying your first home, building a dream ranch, or just managing daily finances, our 16 branches across Central Texas are here for you. South Star Bank, trusted by professionals, backed by tradition, and built for Texas. SouthStarBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender, NMLS 410624.
Nomic Power Solutions, keeping you powered up.
Get to know your local full-service Generac dealer.
Cody and Dylan with Nomic Power Solutions are a veteran-owned, Texas-based Generac dealer and installer.
Offering low monthly payment options, it's never been easier to gain independence from the grid.
Call or text 512-387-4232 or visit nomicpower.com. Follow on Instagram at Nomic Power for updates.
Turnkey service including design, plumbing, electrical, and permits.
They even offer set-it-and-forget-it maintenance plans. Nomic Power Solutions.
Protect your home. Protect your family. Stay ready.
This show is brought to you in part by the Mallet Integrity Team, serving Dripping Springs, Austin, and the surrounding areas of Central Texas since 2004. When you need the best real estate advice and service, give them a call at 512-829-2062 or email them at malletintegrityteam.com.
You know you like us, so go now to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave us a review. Why don't ya? We love your feedback and comments. Email us at malletandmichelle@gmail.com.
Thanks for putting up with us.